Hello, thank you for tuning in and watching this video for the back to school night. My name is Mr. Koeppen. I teach both IM2 periods 1, 2, and 3 and IM1B periods 4 and 5. My prep is 6 period. I'm making one video for both classes. They don't really change any. So what happens in IM2 is the same thing that happens in IM1B, except for the content that we're actually learning and our learning goals are different. But the structure of the class is kind of the same. What I want to first direct you to is the Google Classroom. That's because if you're ever interested in what's going on in the classroom, this is the best starting point right here. Every single day, I post the date. I post the learning goals for the day, the in-class assignments, and the homework. This is very transparent. You can get yourself added on if you have your student invite you into the Google Classroom, and then you should have a parent platform to see it. Or of course, you can just ask your scholar if they can show you the Google Classroom so that you know what's going on. Okay, again, every single day there's going to be a post that shows that. Okay, some assignments are posted on Google Classroom. Some assignments are not. We use a couple different learning platforms. The one thing I do want to show you is that under classwork, there is the syllabus. Okay, so class syllabus, and I am showing the IM2 syllabus here. Of course, the IM1B does not look too much different. Then it just pretty much says IM1B on it because the classes are run pretty much the same. Okay. It does have Google Classroom codes. Every student is already entered into the Google Classroom. Shouldn't be a problem there. We do use a digital textbook. Those digital textbooks are available in hard copy in the library. I do not ask the students to go get those because the digital textbook works just fine and they're inside the classroom. They can use it. If for some reason they prefer paper copy, they're always welcome to go check one out themselves, and that be their responsibility. The materials, and it looked like already majority of students have already gotten these, pencils, erasers, a graphing paper, and a 3-ring binder. This is just for regular classwork. A 1 subject 70 sheet spiral notebook, one that looks like this. It does not need to be anything fancy. 70 pages, college ruled, spiral bound, works just fine. This is their notebook. We put notes in there that they can use on all assignments, on quizzes, on the assignments that they do day in and day out. It's just the reminder notes on how to do certain math that we're working on. Okay. Graphing calculator or a calculator. This is, I know this kind of caused some confusion with some parents. Calculators are highly recommended to have. In IM2, the graphing calculator is recommended to have, although it is not necessary to purchase. I do have a class set of 20 of these. My biggest class is 33 students. It means not every student will get a graphing calculator, but they can share if need be. Most of the time, about half of the class ends up getting one. I highly encourage the graphing calculator, the TI-83. If your scholar intends on going on to IM3, pre-calc, calc, going to a 4-year college or doing a mathematics course or anything in college, this technology has not advanced very much since I was in high school. And that was oh so long ago, almost 20 years now. So it's not going to outgrow that. They're never going to not be able to use it, especially if they're going to use it in college and everything. So not a bad investment now. They do tend to be pricey. I have heard of students finding used ones on Amazon. So that's kind of nice that you can get that other option, although not necessary. In IM1B, they don't really need a graphing calculator. A TI-30X works just fine. I also have a class set of these, and I have enough for every student in class. The only other thing is the school issued Chromebook. That school issued Chromebook is expected to be in class every day and charged. I do have some chargers, but the charging port is only for some of them, not all of them. So if I don't have that charging port, if the student brings their charger, they can plug in and charge in class. I've got plenty of extension cords to reach the tables. I run my class. My expectations are the school-wide expectations. Students are to respect, include, support, and engage. That's our Panthers Rise motto. That's our Rise expectations. And I encourage students and to, one, meet those expectations. And I also expect them to force me to meet those expectations. Attendance and participation. As far as guardians go, you guys should know that if your student is absent, I do understand this is a year that sometimes absences are going to happen because we've got to go get a COVID test, or maybe we got sick, or whatever it might be. I do understand absences are going to happen. That's why I use the Google Classroom and post on that. And if a student is absent, they can always find that material for what the class assignment is for the day. How I grade, there's 4 different categories. I go practice assignments, critical problems, quizzes, and tests. And then of course the weights are in there, 10%, 15%, 25%, and 50% tests. Okay. All assignments can be retried, reworked. They've got unlimited do-overs. Students have unlimited do-overs on every assignment except for exams. I treat my grading the same way as like sports. Practice, 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 scrimmages, practice, scrimmages, practice. These are things that you get to do over and over and over again. And it's not going to affect anything. It's just there to help learn and perform better. Exams or tests are like the game. You don't really get a redo on the game. It is what it is. You're only trying to use that as a learning point to improve the next one. So this 50% of the grade, quizzes, critical problems, and practice assignments, if they do not get full points on those, they can always retry them and resubmit. For our practice, for all of these, well, for practice assignments, it's practice to proficient. I expect 70% or better to get full points. And students on those assignments can redo those assignments as many times as they want on their own. Critical problems are always done in the class. Critical problems are done in class. So if they're participating and they're working with their group, most of the time they're going to get full points on it. A lot of times there's maybe a couple things missing from those critical problems. After I grade it, I return it back to groups. They can redo them and then submit them back in. Quizzes are done every single Friday. We go over the quizzes on Monday. I open it up for retakes on Tuesday. Students could take those quizzes as many times as they'd like after the Tuesday after to improve their scores. Okay, another learning opportunity. The platforms we're using in my class are Khan Academy, KudaWorks, the digital textbook, Google Classroom, and we do have class paper assignments here and there. A lot of times I'll post those on Google Classroom as well. I put on there our BHS vision and mission statement if you'd like to read over that. Academic honesty. My expectation is that students' work is their own unless they're working in group work, in which case it's a collaborative effort. Okay. Communication. If you as guardians need to communicate with me, please send me an email. I think I placed my email up there. It is jkoeppen@benicia-unified.org. Okay. There's a counselor on campus, Mr. Koeppen, whose email looks very similar to mine. Mine has the O in it. That's the big thing. And it ends with an N instead of an L. That's the only differences between our emails. I have an O and I end in an L, or end in an N. So please make sure you do your best to double check the email so that it's going to Koeppen instead of Koeppen. If you do accidentally send it to him, he's pretty good about forwarding it back over to me. Give me about 48 hours to respond back. And I would, I'm pretty good about getting back to emails fairly quick, especially as the year goes on. I've gotten into a better practice of checking it. Other than that, the only other area where guardians should be aware of is the Aries Portal. And the Aries Portal, I'm not familiar with what it looks like at BHS on the parent side. So do make sure you check it out. And if you have questions about it, I would direct those more toward the front office. Feel free to email me if you have those questions and I can find out the answer for you. I would highly, highly recommend downloading the Parent Square app. It's of course free and it's an easy way to just message me. You can message any of your students' teachers, and it doesn't mean I'm going to get back to it right away. It's not like a text message format, but it is kind of an easier way to get a direct message, maybe a short message that doesn't need as much of as an email. And that Parent Square, I do check that Parent Square daily as well. You can always message me through that, and then we can go from there. If you have any questions, please email me at jkeppen@venetiaunified.org. Again, JKOEPPEN @venetiaunified.org. Or you can relay it to your student or send me it through Parent Square. Have a great evening.